LearnInbox, a vision for new style of learning.
Hi folks, this is Rajiv Verma and the topic for today's presentation is relationships in Salesforce. Today in this presentation, we'll see a small introduction about Salesforce, then what objects we have in Salesforce, then ultimately we'll come to relationships, what type of relationships we have in Salesforce, we'll discuss that. Apart from it, we'll also have a small hands-on session on relationships in Salesforce, or you can say the major relationships available in Salesforce. So let's get started. So this is a brief introduction about Salesforce. Salesforce is the world's most popular CRM. CRM is customer relationship management software headquartered in San Francisco. It was founded in 1999 by Mr. Mark Benioff. The subscriber base of Salesforce has reached till more than 3.75 million now. Then 83% of Fortune 500 companies are Salesforce customers. Then one important point here is it works on the multi-tenant environment. So what's a multi-tenant environment? If you are creating or working on an application, then either you have to purchase the required infrastructure or hardware, or you have to subscribe a centralized available infrastructure. So here in Salesforce, we have a centralized available infrastructure. And if you are a customer to Salesforce, then you are not buying or you are not purchasing that infrastructure. You are just using it on the pay-as-you-go basis. That is, in simple words, you are subscribing to that infrastructure, and all the users who are using the Salesforce are using that shared infrastructure. That's why this Salesforce environment is called as multi-tenant environment. Next is this application is based on software as a service, SaaS. In cloud computing, we have three kinds of services: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. This Salesforce is kind of a software as a service. The force.com, this is, you can say, it is the parent organization of Salesforce. So the force.com is a platform that helps developers and business users to build powerful enterprise applications. So before starting with the relationships, you should know what objects we have in Salesforce, because ultimately objects are the ones which we use to create relationships. So let's see the formal definition of objects. Objects are database tables that allow us to store data specific to the organization in Salesforce. In a formal conventional DBMS, database management systems, we have tables, and those tables, you can say, are called as objects in Salesforce. So there are two kinds of objects available. First one is the standard objects and second one is the custom objects. Standard objects are the ones which we cannot create. Whenever we start using a Salesforce environment, then we get certain standard objects already pre-built, predefined in our Salesforce environment. So those are standard objects. And on the contrary, custom objects are the ones which we create. Okay, so if we have the provision to create custom object, definitely we would have the provisions to delete those custom objects. So whichever objects we create according to our requirement, those objects are called as custom objects. Then in custom objects we have certain fields. So fields are also categorized into two types, that is standard fields and custom fields. Now this is our main topic, that is relationships in Salesforce. See, in simpler words, whenever we have two objects, we want to connect those two objects. We want to associate those two objects. Then we should have a relationship between those two objects. So the formal definition of the relationship says a relationship is a two-way association between two objects. Relationships associate objects with other objects. Here in Salesforce, we have four types of relationships available. The first type of relationship is lookup relationship, and the second one is the master detail relationship. First, understand what is the difference between these two major kind of relationships. See, in all the relationships, we have a parent object and also we have a child object. So this lookup and master detail relationships, in one side we have no cascade deletion and in other side we have cascade deletion. Understand what cascade is or what cascade deletion is. Whenever I have a relationship between two objects, a parent object and a child object, and if I delete the parent objects, then by deleting that parent object, if the child object gets deleted automatically, that is called as cascade or cascade deletion. And on the contrary, if I delete the parent object and that deletion doesn't affect the child object, that is called as no cascade or no cascade deletion. This is the major difference between the lookup and master detail relationships. Then apart from it, we also have another kind of relationship in Salesforce, that is the self relationship. As the name suggests, if we have a lookup relationship to itself, or if I have an object and I want to create a relationship to that object itself, that kind of relationship is called as self relationship. Next and last, we have many to many relationship. Here we can associate many objects to other many objects. I'll explain this many to many relationship using you can say a presentation. So just consider, if I'm working in healthcare domain and if I'm creating a project for healthcare domain, or you can say simply for a hospital management. So in that hospital, I'll have certain doctors, okay, and I'll have certain patients. See, these are the two kinds of objects available in my system. Now, if, for example, let me increase the size of fonts. Yes. If, for example, a single doctor a single doctor treats multiple patients. Okay. If a single doctor treats multiple patients, also one patient can consult to multiple doctors in that hospital. Okay. So a doctor can treat multiple patients, and a single patient can consult to multiple doctor. So here you can say a many to many relationship is required. So here we'll use this fourth kind of relationship, that is many to many relationship. Okay, and this is achieved via a junction object. Okay, it is achieved via a junction object. Okay, so what we'll do is, there are two master detail relationships here, and in between those two we'll have a junction object. So as we have seen the doctor patient example, so between those doctors and patient we'll have a junction object which will create a many to many relationship with the objects. Okay, so now let's get started with our hands-on session on relationships in Salesforce. So this is my Salesforce org, and we have two types of, you can say, formats here. First one is the Salesforce Classic and another one is the Salesforce Lightning. Lightning is the advanced one, so definitely we'll be using Salesforce Lightning for our Salesforce environment. Then for making this video shorter, I have already created certain custom objects here. So the three custom objects I have created here is the customer, passport and address of customers. So let me show you these objects. I created an object customer, and here I have created two custom fields, the name and age of the customer. Okay. Now then in passport, it is also a custom object I have created. Here in passport, I have created passport status pick list as my custom field, and passport name we have as auto number. Then third custom object is the address of customers. So in address of customer, I have created the address name, and the custom field is address, the city of the customer. Okay, so what is the purpose of creating these three custom objects? I want to demonstrate two major types of relationships in Salesforce. So the two major types of relationship, as we just discussed in the presentation, are lookup relationship and the master detail relationship. So here I want that my customer should be my parent object, and address of customer and passport should be my child objects. So I want to create a lookup relationship between customer and passport. Then also I want to create a master detail relationship between customer and address of the customers. Okay, so one important point here is always remember that whenever you are trying to create a relationship, do it on the child side. Okay, so whenever you want to create a relationship, you cannot create a relationship on the parent side. You have to create a relationship on the child side. Okay, so if I want to create a lookup relationship between customer and passport being the child in that particular relationship, so I have to create a relationship on the passport, okay, on the child side. So I'll go to fields and relationships. I select new, and here I have to select the data type. So data type would be my lookup relationship. I want to create a lookup relationship. See, if you want to study further about relationship, there are certain points available here as well, so you can go through it. So I'll select lookup relationship, then go to next. Then I'll select my parent object, that is customer. Here is my customer. Select next. So if you want that customer should be my label as well as field name, so just click tab and this will get copied here. Select next. Let this relationship be visible to all the applications available in Salesforce, and I'll select next, then again next, and save. So here I have created a lookup relationship between customer and passport. Here you can see there's a lookup relationship between customer and passport. Okay, now I'll create a master detail relationship between address of customer and customer. So address of customer, I'll go to fields and relationships. I'll follow the same steps. Go to new, then I'll select a master detail relationship, then I'll select next, and I have to select the parent object, again would be my customer. Let customer be my field name, then select next, and finally save. So I have created my two relationship, my master detail relationship and the lookup relationship. Okay, so now I'll demonstrate the cascade deletion between these two types of relationships. For that I have to create certain objects in my certain records in my object. So for that I'll go to my sales app. See, my custom objects are available here as separate tabs. So first I'll go to customer and I'll create some new customers here. So let's create, currently we do not have any customer record here, so I'll create one. So let the age of customer is 18 and the name of that customer is Ajay. Let's save this. So here I have my first customer Ajay. I'll create one more customer here. I'll again go to customers and create a new customer here. Let his age be 25 and let the name of customer would be John. Save. So I have two customers now. Okay, the first customer 1 and customer 2. Now let me create a passport for those customers. Just remember, you have a lookup relationship between customer and passport. So I create a new passport. So let the status of the passport is in process, and see, you have to select the customer here, customer 1 or 2. Let me select customer 1 here. So and let me save this. Okay, so this passport P0001 belongs to the first customer, customer 1. Now if I go here in my customer and if I click this customer number 1, okay, so and if I go to related, see, there is one passport associated with it. Why? Because we have a lookup relationship between customer and passport. Now I want to demonstrate my cascade deletion, which we were discussing in our presentation. So according to our presentation, lookup relationship do not have cascade deletion. So if I delete the parent object, that will not affect my child object. So let me now delete my parent object. Okay, so this is the one. Okay, so let me delete this. I'll select this and I'll delete. As you can see, the customer record is deleted. Now let us check whether it has affected the passport or not. No. See, the passport record is as it is. So deleting the parent record has not affected the passport, okay, or has not affected the child object. So that's how we demonstrated the lookup relationship. Now let's go further and create some of the addresses. I'll create a new address and then we'll demonstrate the master data relationship and the cascade deletion. So let me have one address, 10 Park Street, London, and let me have one customer here. Only one customer is remaining, that is customer number 2. Let's save this. So now we have an address 10 Park Street associated with a parent record, that is customer number 2. Let's just check it whether we have it or not. If I open my customer number 2 and if I go to related list, see, I have an address associated with this particular customer, that is 10 Park Street. Now according to our definition, according to our presentation, the master detail relationship has cascade deletion. So if according to it, if I delete my parent record, my child record should also get deleted. Okay, so let's try it. If I delete this parent, this customer, my address should also get deleted. So let's check. See, we do not have any customers now. See, when I deleted the customer, my address of customer also got deleted. So this is the reason behind this is we had a master detail relationship between the customer and the address of customer, and when we deleted the parent, according to the definition of cascade deletion, the child record, the address also got deleted. Okay, so that's how we demonstrated our relationships in Salesforce. Okay. So this was the relationships in Salesforce. These are some of the references I have used for this presentation. Thank you for watching this video.